Okay. Hello, welcome. I'm Amanda, and I'm in the loft at Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington, Massachusetts. We have 3 stores. This is one of them. There are 2 more, one in Norton, Massachusetts, and one in Saugus, Massachusetts. We happen to have a loft and a streaming rig here in Abington, so I'm going to be doing some painting on stream. Later this evening, we're going to be playing The Thing. Andy, what was the full title of The Thing? It's Contagion at Outpost 31. It's The Thing. It's the Thing board game. We're going to be playing that tonight at 7:30 Eastern. But for now, you just have me. And I'm going to be doing some miniature painting today. I do want to bring up the stream so that I can interact with chat. Unfortunately, we used to have a way to have the chat up on a big screen up like that way. However, this is why I muted my stream. Unfortunately, the laptop we used to do that died. So don't have that anymore. That's okay. We're just gonna hang out, do some painting. Ooh, who else is on? Ooh, someone making jewelry. Cool. So last week I did a little bit of work on this. This is a miniature for a friend of mine who asked me to paint it for him. It's his D&D character. It's his D&D character. He is a hexblade, and he was raised by bards. So he's got a little bit of flamboyance to him, as noted by the gold bandana and the purple pouches. There's a little bit of purple in there. So here's what happened last week. Last week I did the bulk of the painting. I did all like the basing and stuff. And I did some detail work. And then I applied some Nuln Oil. Yeah. Turns out Nuln Oil gets concentrated after a while when some of the liquid has evaporated away. And that's a thing that happens more with the Citadel paint pots, where you keep them open, than it does with like dropper bottles, because with the paint pots you're going to keep them open all the time, so that gives more time for the liquid in the pot to evaporate out. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my jar of Nuln Oil, so I used the one in the case belonging to Derek, who is the store owner who lets me use his paints. And I used the Nuln Oil that was in one of his boxes, and it's an older jar, and it was a little more concentrated than I anticipated. I did not thin it down nearly as much as I should have, and things went real dark. But I'm kind of liking it. You know, Andrew, the person I'm doing this for, did say he should be a fairly dark character. Like, the character should have a lot of dark colors with only pops of brighter stuff going on. So it works. I just want to bring some stuff back up. I didn't intend for it to go quite so dark all over, and it's looking a little monochromatic at the moment, and I don't love that. So I'm going to do some highlighting on that. Then I'm probably going to I have my Wasteland Express game. I am working on the last truck in Wasteland Express. It's the very last one I have to do before that's done, which is weird to think about that being done. When I started doing that, I was like, there's so many trucks. But fortunately, I have another project to do because I may finish that today and still have time to play. I have a couple of these little guys. These are the Pathfinder minis, pre-primed minis. Andy and I, different Andrew. The Andrew that I'm married to, and who is not the person I'm painting the figure for, we run a D&D campaign at the library that I work at. I'm a children's librarian, and we run this D&D campaign, and Whoa, that got loud. Hey, Andy, you're making it so loud that I can't hear myself talk, which is hard. Andy's controlling the music downstairs on his phone, which is really weird to look at. Anyway, we have these half-orc barbarians because we have a bunch of kids who have different characters, and a couple of them have half-orc barbarians. So we are going to make them some figures because they're harder to find. A lot of the characters are stock characters enough that we've been able to find them and not have to paint them ourselves. But a handful of them we needed to go find unpainted figures to have them use. So, first order of business, let's clean him up. Get him looking good. Yeah, it got loud enough that I couldn't hear myself, so that was...
You don't need that.
No, I don't. So there's this texture here. Whoa, hey. And I feel like that's part of my fingerprint. Yeah, it's way too loud.
There we go.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do some highlighting, and we're going to do some touch-ups. And then I'm gonna practice drawing wyverns. One of the things that he said was that the bandana that his character wears has black wyverns on it. Wyverns, as it turns out, not easy to draw. I mean, I can do it. I've been sort of playing around with it, but they're not the easiest creature in the world to draw. So I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to play around with it, see if I can find a small pattern that I like. The way I'm going to do this is assuming that his bandana is a square. Let's for a moment think we don't want to do little ones because they're just going to look like dots. But if I do a quartered design, so if you think of a square like this and think the wings of the wyverns coming along the sides and their bodies pointing into or out of the center. It's a quartered design that is common in Basotho blankets, which are culturally significant blankets used by the people of Lesotho in Africa. They were used in the Black Panther movie, the border tribe, with their rhinos and their blanket shields, have these really cool blankets, and they are traditional African blankets. And I went looking for them to see what they look like and what their significance was. And they're used for a whole bunch of different culturally significant, like marriages and births and all sorts of different things. And they've got all sorts of really interesting patterns, but one of the repeated things is that they have quartered patterns that go into the center from the corners. A lot of corn cobs. So, yeah. So I'm thinking of it that way, which means that the wings are going to come across the forehead like that. So it's going to be a wing pointing to a wing, and the bodies are sort of going to end up meeting in the center. We're going to see how that looks. If I end up absolutely like if it looks super cheesy or it doesn't come across or just looks like he's has a big X over his head, we'll go back over it with gold. Fortunately, it's a bandana, so you can go back over that with another coat of paint and it's not gonna be horrible. So let's first bring him back up a bit from that known oil situation. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, that's purple. Ooh, that could have been bad. It's okay. I mean, it's nightshade purple. Can you tell which one is black? It's this one. This is so close. All right, what we're going to do is take black and gradually bring it up with the darkest gray in the box, which is stormy gray. I think this is the darkest one. Yeah, there's nothing that's closer to black. Because I don't want to bring it like way up too fast. I don't want to just go immediately from that to that. That's a very stark change. So instead, we're going to go lighten that up a little bit. So, little tip. This is something that I started doing a little while ago. For pallets, I use the backs of delivery labels. We do a lot of shipping out of the store. And we end up with a ton of these shipping label, like backing things. Get a lot of glare on that paint from the lights above. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I just want to do a little highlighting. I don't want like everything he's wearing to just be stark black. Let's do his cloak. Yeah, that's looking better. It brought everything down to the same tone. I really wasn't looking for that. Aw, some pride bits. Thank you, Andy. dirty this up a little bit. We're gonna dry brush some metallic over that shield because the shield is supposed to be metal. That looks a little more distinct than it did, which is what I'm going for. I'm happy with how the little like wisps of shadow came out. That was supposed to be like a dark shadow magic. But I thought I'd give it sort of a colored tint to it. Looks a lot more weathered instead of just being flat. I like that better. We're going to do a little bit of detail work with this purple. There we go. I'm going to do a little detail work on his face. So he has rosy skin, as per Andrew, who owns the figure. I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting, and then we're going to do a little bit of shadowing. Get him looking good. God, I forget what color eyes Andrew said he has. Not that I think I can do much with his eyes, they're so tiny. I realize that I'm sort of going on in broad strokes. It's because I'm going to bring it back down again with the flesh wash. Yeah. Shadow. No. Sure. Just noticed the back of his neck is a little bit. Time for eyes. Actually, I'm going to try and get in touch with Andrew via Facebook. God, I hate Facebook. Anyhow, oh, blue eyes. Excellent. I already had it in my notes. Let's see just how hard I can make my own life. Literally. All right, blue eyes. Okay, blue eyes. We'll go with this blue and see how it looks. That looks like I didn't shake it enough. That's how that looks. Thrilling, right? Shaking paints. Better. It's time for the itty bitty brush, for the smallest of brushes. That brush right there. It's so tiny. I think I might have gotten that. think, guys? Andrew's gonna be here tonight, so... Hey, Malcolm! Good to see you. What do you think? How's my dude doing? Well, not my dude. Different person's dude. Friend's dude. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the dark armor. Like I was saying earlier, the non-oil I used was a little more concentrated than I had anticipated, but it turned out to work really well. I was able to highlight back up to what I wanted. That's one of the reasons why I like to do highlighting before a wash and then again after, because it gives me the chance to really like play with that sort of thing. It doesn't sort of lock me into... He's gonna have some rosier cheeks. Yeah, did the music get really loud for a little bit there? Or now it's really, really quiet? I can't tell how loud it is on the stream itself because I'm not listening to the stream. We're just gonna give him some...
Boba Fett, where? Sorry, I'm still mucking around with sound. Damn it! Should have brought a phone with me.
Yeah. Why didn't you? Whoa, hey.
This one is good. Great. Great.
I didn't like how that looked. So we're just gonna use this for his lips. Because people's lips are a different color. So now... let's see what I have for flush wash available to me. No. Oh my, there we go. That's way too dark. Still way too dark. Better. Well, I see what's going on here. I booped his chin at some point with gray. Hello. Oh no! I have some orc barbarians if you'd like, half orc barbarians if you'd like to take a swipe at them. Cool. So the thing is, Malcolm, this is not my figure. He belongs to a friend who commissioned me to do him. And there was no mention in what he said of war paint, so I can't really cover up my sins with war paint, unfortunately. Nice as that would be. Do you want to be mic'd up?
We'll hold off on that for a moment.
Okay.
Because I may have to go get something to eat. I don't know if we'll hold that long.
Gotcha. I actually think he's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with him. I do like how the sword came out. I did a little bit of shiny highlighting on his sword, a little dry brushing. We're gonna do a little bit of dry brushing over these things, I think. Because here's the thing, they're supposed to be dark and shadowy. Thanks, Andy. So I'm actually going to be, I'm dry brushing some black over it to get it nice and dark. I also, and I don't know if this is going to come across to anyone but me, when I did the washes down in the cobblestones, I did them a little bit purple into the crevices of the cobblestones around the shadows, so that the shadows would end up having a little bit of a color to them. All right. I'm pretty satisfied. We have a few people around who do cosplay, Malcolm. I don't know just how many we have around who do cosplay. It would be really cool to do a cosplay build stream. I don't know if we could do it once a month, but if we could get some people together to do it like every couple of months, that would be super sweet. I have dabbled a little in cosplay, but mostly using like found pieces. For example, I did the Silver Shroud from Fallout 4 using a trench coat I already owned. And then what I did was I took the collar of the trench coat. I basically just brought the trench coat into the store because there was a nice flat open area I could work with. Laid it out and put tracing paper down over all of the like parts of the collar, because it turns out a pointed collar on a trench coat is a complex piece of fabric engineering, because it's got like the band that goes around the collar, and then it has the pointed bit that flips down, because when you pop your collar up, you can see it's actually like two pieces. There's the piece that goes around the neck and sort of buttons here, and then there's the actual parts that come down and have the points. Ooh, I just hit my mic, sorry about that. But then there's also a part that it connects to under that. So it's actually like a three-piece piece of fabric. And then there are the lapels, if you want to do the lapels. So I actually had to create this like multi-part thing to go over. So what I did was, because I knew it was going to be folded over like this, like that. I undid all of that, laid it out, put the tracing paper over it, added seam allowances around the edges that needed seam allowances, and then laid the tracing paper out over the fabric, over the silver fabric that I had bought, and cut the fabric around, pinned it down, cut the fabric around the collar pieces, and then stitched them together where they needed to be together to go like on the interior around my neck. And then I folded them over the edges of the existing collar and stitched them in place without bringing them through to the other side very much. There are only a couple of little stitches here and there to hold the whole thing flat. Otherwise, it's very much just held in place with like basting stitches on the backside, so that it holds it down without needing to have a whole lot of like top stitching. That was, yeah, sneakily complex is definitely the term to use for that. Who knew that shirt collars were such a pain in the ass? Tailors, anyone who works with clothing. So yeah, I'm looking at Dan's collar right now, and it is a multi-part, like I'm just looking at it just to remember because I'm not wearing a collared shirt right now. I was talking about one of our chat members, Malcolm. It was quite a project. It was way more than I had really anticipated, but that's cosplay for you. Everything ends up being more of a project than you thought it was. For example, another Fallout cosplay that I have planned is, they're barbarians, they're primed. They came primed. One of the cosplays that I really want to do is Sierra Petrovita from Fallout 4 and 3. She's in both. She's obsessed with Nuka-Cola, and she shows up if you get all the way to like the east side of the map in Fallout 3. She lives in a little tiny place called Girder Shade, which is like under a highway. And she has the Nuka-Cola Museum, which is basically a shed full of Nuka-Cola stuff. And there's this guy, Ronald Laren, who hangs out outside and guards her. And he's basically this friend-zoned dickwad who really would like to sleep with her, and she cares about nothing but Nuka-Cola, so she's not even noticing that he's into her. But he's not like into her like I like you, more like you're a woman and you look nice and therefore I want to bone you. But yeah, I'm not thrilled with that, but you can convince him to leave, which is what I did in my playthrough. But then you definitely meet her again in the Nuka World DLC for Fallout 4. She's at Nuka World and she's all, I came all the way here from the Capital Wastes just to see this place. And of course, Nuka World is controlled by raiders, and they're like, who even are you and why do you care this much about this soda? But she sends you on a quest that eventually gets you into a vault where the guy who invented Nuka-Cola's frozen head has been preserved. So when you see her in Nuka World, she's wearing jeans and a green t-shirt with the Nuka-Cola mascots, Bottle and Cappy, on the front. And she has these glasses, her Cappy glasses, and they're shaped like bottle caps. And they have a picture on the front. You know those like sunglasses that actually have like an image and then they have little pinprick holes so you can see through them, but they've got a picture on the front? That's what these are. And the picture on the front is of Cappy. It's a little animated bottle cap. And you can see through these glasses, and if you're looking through the glasses, you can see clues around the part that give you the combination to getting into the vault. And she's the one who gives you the glasses. She has those glasses when you meet her. She's wearing sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt, and you would think that would be the simplest costume in the entire world to put together, except finding the wig for her, because I don't have her hair. And I'm not growing my hair out to my shoulders. Even if I could grow my hair out to my shoulders by like next PAX East, I don't want to, because my hair is better short, and it's far less fuss short, especially over the summer. So I have to find a wig, but I have to find a wig that's shoulder length, blonde, no bangs, but wavy, or something I could make wavy. So that means playing around with wigs, which I've never done. The t-shirt has to be weathered. So I bought the t-shirt. Bethesda, at least used to have the t-shirt on their website. They've changed their store around completely. But they've they had the shirt. It's a green shirt with Bottle and Cappy on the front and Nuka World on the back, just at the base of the neck. And I have the shirt, but I have to weather it. And weathering t-shirts, I looked it up. There's actually a really cool website. It's a website that sells like nerdy t-shirts, but they have a whole thing on the shirt that is on like weathering shirts and all the different techniques that they've read up about, and they show you what the outcome was when they did each different technique, so you can pick the one that looks the way, or combination of ones that make the shirt look the way you want it to look, which I thought was super cool. What an awesome resource. So I bookmarked that. So I really would like to do that. I don't know how visible it would be on a stream in the store to work at it, because I'd be weathering a shirt, which unfortunately requires like tubs of water and sandpaper and stuff, and a washing machine and like borax and things. But isn't that shirt resource super neat? I'm gonna find it because I'm a mod in this channel. Let me see if I can find it. I bookmarked it. The question is, where did I stick it? Did I stick it in? No, I did not stick it in Assorted Geekdom. Fandom? Nope. Crafty stuff? No, I have like moldable plastic and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't bookmark it? Oh, that would be super annoying. I'll find it again. When I find it, I'll post it in like the Discord or something. There it is. I think that's it. No. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, like there are a bunch of different techniques for doing it. Oh, this is it. This is it. It's found item clothing. Shirts from your favorite movies and TV shows, which, I mean, it has a whole bunch of stuff like that. But then it has a guide to, like, making your shirts look worn. So I thought that was really cool. I'll find it and I'll put, here, how to age your shirts. I'm going to put it in chat, so it'll be there in the VOD. There we go. So it's in the chat now. I just thought it was a really neat resource because they show a bunch of different techniques and then they show you how each one sort of turned out, so you can really play around with it. I think sandpaper is probably gonna be like where I go first, because sandpaper will take it not only like weathers the paint, but also weathers the shirt itself, and I want the shirt to look you know, beaten up. She's been wearing it out in the wasteland, but I'm gonna have to be careful about where I target the sandpaper. They did a vinegar and tea soak that changes the color as well. That looked really useful to like make something look older, and it faded it as well, which was really cool. Like it definitely made the silk screen not look quite as bright and fresh. So that's what I want, because, or I could just like wear this and run it through the washing machine a billion times, but I really don't have the money for that. I'd far rather like buy some sandpaper and have at it. Anyway, acetone's the other possibility, and I can use nail polish remover for that. Yeah, I think the acetone and sandpaper is really going to be what I end up using. Anyway, my point being, some of that is stuff I don't think I can do on stream so much. Sandpaper I can. Acetone bath and like a vinegar bath, can't do that on stream. But if I can find a bunch of people who are working on things, maybe I'll put some feelers out on Discord and see how people are feeling about that. Because if we can find enough people to want to do it, I think that would be really cool. I think that would be a really fun thing to do if we have enough stuff to do. We could just do a wide angle camera up here and sort of have all of us working on various things. Cosplay takes up a lot of space because especially if you're working with a very large costume, you're very much looking at needing a fair amount of room. There we go, that's more what I wanted. Cosplay takes up space. It's a space suck of a hobby. If you're doing a costume that has like wings or something, anything that like really has a whole lot going on, you need space not just for like working on it, but to store the dang thing. Like my Silver Shroud coat is hanging on like a curtain rod right now in my bedroom. It's like hanging in front of one of my bedroom windows because I have nowhere else to put it. Because I don't just want to like, we don't have a coat closet, we have just a coat rack, and I don't just want to stick it on there. But I also don't want to like I want to have it be like around. I don't want it to get ruined. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to forget I have it. $400 in material? Yeah, that's definitely budget for a lot of cosplay stuff. I like simple like closet cosplay stuff where you can just look at what you've got and wear it. One of the best cosplays I've seen was all in the Attitude. We had a couple of years ago at PAX East, the Fallout 4 crew. We had someone cosplaying Deacon, and Deacon is one of the railroad agents, and Deacon he's a smart ass, and he's one of my favorites. I love Deacon. Deacon is one of my favorite characters. He's super funny. He's a lot of fun to sort of hang out with, to run around the Wasteland with. So I really enjoy playing with him. And the person who was cosplaying as him had the attitude down. And basically Deacon wears jeans and a t-shirt and sunglasses. That's about it. But she had distressed the jeans and the t-shirt, and she got the like pompadour wig and dirtied it up, and it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm trying to get a piece of paper the same size as what that... Yeah, that would be about that size. I want to practice with the scale. Yeah, that's about right. So we want the bodies of the wyverns like this. We want the heads here. I don't love it. Don't love it. Okay, testing again. Wings are annoying. You okay?
No.
Oh, that's no good. Yeah. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So instead of trying to do this with paint, I am going to use a pen. And we'll see how it goes. We've got like pointy tails here.
Such safest sanctuary, dropping them dollars on you, thank you very much. By the way, no refunds back into the boneyard badlands when you run. I saw a siren singing, shifting through the shots are ringing, frying, burning, guts are stinging, bringing you the pain. Come on down and join the party tonight. We hit the country, turn away from the fight. Chips on shoulders, sweating dirt on our hands. Cause we're breaking down the borders as we're out of the land, yeah. Hope you get back just a barrel of shell. Ain't nothing left now, but it's no sense of smell.
Is this a Borderlands song?
Yes, it is. Down.
Splash, bang, so corrosive, don't get close if it's explosive, flash, gang,
I tried it.
All right. So, what do you think?
vicious, malicious, a voice we know, soon to reap the seeds you sow.
Ooh, I like it.
There are going to be two more.
Oh, there's four all facing each other?
Well, he said there's like wyverns on it. And I was like, okay. I don't think I can do little wyverns, but I can do like a couple of big ones. And what I was thinking about was like a quartered design to it. I'll ask Andrew what he thinks tonight. So.
The game is a lot more fun if you play the co-op version.
Yeah.
Single player was very painful.
So I'm going to have to ask Andrew. They're done-ish. I'll have to ask Andrew how he feels about those. If he doesn't like them, I'll go back over it with gold, and we'll just run from there. I'm not 100% satisfied with them, but... Alright. I am going to work on this. Since Dan is here and is working on the orcs, I will work on the donkey. As I mentioned, one of our kids decided he wanted a donkey as his familiar, as his animal companion. So the thing about a white donkey is that he said it's not an albino, it's a white donkey, or a white mule, whatever. The thing is, white animals are rarely just pure, blinding white. There's usually a yellowishness to like a mane or something, because that's just keratin and how it works. You know, it's like when your fingernails don't have like polish. Like my fingernails almost always have polish on them, but your nails aren't white. They aren't white. They've almost always got sort of an off-white or yellowish tinge to them, and that's just how, like, that's what it is. That's how your body works, and that's how, like, you absorb oils and stuff. So there's usually sort of a yellowishness, and they're going to have like a little bit of gray around the nose. They're going to have, if they have a mane, the mane's going to have a dinginess to it. Ah, yes, hold on.
The inside is a lot of liquid. If I squeeze...
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I have a smaller one somewhere too.
One gray is going to be heavy.
Oh yeah. And he's got all these packages and stuff on him. So yeah, he needs to have a little bit more texture going on there. So we're gonna work on that so that he can have his welcome. So that he can have his donkey with him, his mule or whatever. I'm gonna look at a nice picture. Let's find a good picture of the mule. Oh yeah. So we're gonna have a little bit of pinkishness to the nose. We're gonna have some sort of yellow off-whitishness on the mane and on the coat, especially in like here, in like the joints and stuff. And we'll be doing sort of a lighter tan for the hooves. Got a good picture here. Yeah. White is deceptively difficult. It's not an easy color to play around with because you don't want to go too harsh in one direction or the other, because you still want it to be white. Oh, so hard. So what I'm actually going to do is start with off-white, yellowed down a tiny bit. I'm going to make it even more off-white, off-white, like off Broadway. We're going to run with that and see what we get, and then highlight up from there instead of trying to like just paint in. Let's see if that worked. That might help too. Yeah, that's going to be good in places if I can grab some of that. because I have like that polished bone color, so that's gonna help. But it's very much like a, I don't know, a tanny white. So we're gonna play around with that. And then he's got all these packages on him. That might help. Down in like the hocks, that's gonna help. Like down near the feet. No. It's gonna be. I mean, this is a white mule that has joined this ranger out in an adventure, so it's not gonna be the cleanest mule in the entire world. It's so dark, yeah. That's the problem I encountered last week when I did Nuln Oil on Andrew's figure. I used Derek's older Nuln Oil, and man, is that concentrated at this point. It went way darker than I had really intended it to go. But it's cool, I was able to highlight back up. I'm gonna go over like his bridle too. I'm basically just gonna base him in this color, because I can always go back over and do more detail work later. So I figure I can always dry brush more white over this. And like do highlights and low lights and stuff. But I'd rather have some of this yellowishness already sort of baked in, as it were. Yellow is horrible, so I went on a whole tear about how much I hate painting with yellow. And one of our regulars was in chat and was like, really? Even more than white? And I was like, God, yes. White is annoying, but it at least goes on usually, even if it goes on thin, it goes on fairly evenly. Whereas yellow is almost always a streaky mess.
I feel like you can get white to at least the color you want, whereas yellow, you're always trying to find the right shade.
Yeah.
You never quite think, oh, no, that's too light, that's too dark.
Trying to do the school bus from Wasteland Express was such a nightmare. School bus yellow is not easy to match. Speaking of Fallout, the world of rust and wasted. So I don't have D&D this week. I have it this coming week. I have it next week. Book club this week on Tuesday. I have to remember I have to order them pizza. It's pizza party week. I always do it at the end of the school year. I order them pizza. We sit around. We don't talk about the books that much. their reward for coming and hanging out with me all year long. They're good kids.
Such a cute song about the apocalypse.
Isn't it? My Palestine, winter weather and withstand tribulations of this land just right. Someday the rains will come and wash it all away. Out of the wasteland.
Reminds me a little bit of wooden ships.
Yeah, it does have a bit of that.
Yeah. It's an awesome song.
It is a good song. Tin cans and bottle cap and twisted steel. So I got to see this particular musician live twice. He doesn't.
The fellow, the Irish guy?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he did not sing this. And Fallout 4 came out after, so his Fallout 4 song wasn't out at the time that I saw him live the second time, so.
Their tour was about Empires, which was very specific to 2 albums that had to explain this to the crowd. And I'm sorry you aren't quite understanding because I hear what you're screaming out.
Yeah, I hear what you're asking for. You need to.
Those albums.
Yeah.
I know what the set list is because we put it together.
Yeah, I donkey butt. Oh, that. Okay, hold on a second. That needs to be dealt with. I didn't even notice how bad that seam was.
What's that?
One of the seams on this was just, it's got like a point to it. And I'm gonna have to let this paint dry a little bit and then go back over that. It's so good. I love Thor Ragnarok.
I love that they decided to go funny with it.
Oh, same. I also love, so this was something that I had sort of known on my own, but I was really happy to see someone online point it out to others, which is that this is a movie with an unreliable narrator. Your narrator is Thor. So there are certain things he's going to say about what happened that won't they're from his point of view. So I kind of like that like you do have to take into account who's the one whose point of view the story is. And it's something that I think sometimes the Marvel movies don't take into account, is that they're always going to have a point of view character who's sort of like the focus of the story. And sometimes they try to tell a story without realizing that, and it ends up feeling really weird and uneven. See, look at this like point on his butt. He needs that taken care of. I'm gonna take my knife out. We're gonna cut his butt. It's butt cutting time. Come and go with this world. Come on. There we go. No. All of his stuff is original. Like, it's all, like, his own. There, much better. Oh, that butt's so much better now. Much cleaner butt. That color is definitely what I wanted, though. That's like that undertone to it, and now I can play with the. Now I can play with like highlighting and stuff, and then I can play with the packages, and his bridle and all of his harnesses and stuff. Bum bum ba da da dum bum 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 bum. On the river, but the clouds drifting by. Yes, we are. I don't like how that looks. Going back over it. Blech. That was a bloop. So what was that white you had? Yeah, that is nice.
That and don't have a blue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little more yellowish than the other one I had. The other thing I have is this like leather white, but it's a little more gray toned. Leather this time. No, because he isn't really infringing on any copyright.
3 hours out of 40.
Exactly. His videos have unfortunately a few times been like demonetized for him because it's using like stuff from some of the games or from the movies and stuff. But for the most part, companies have been pretty cool about it. Just like they're advertising your products. Yeah. Ugh.
And then all of a sudden
Disappeared off it.
And they had to put up, I think it was on their Twitter, something like, yeah, we were really sorry to see it go to, we loved it, but yeah. It was,
There's a dispute.
yeah.
It's frustrating.
And the really sad thing about that is that it's not even that the company that holds it wants it. They just
Yeah.
don't want to get it to,
Yeah, they didn't want anyone else to have it.
and they pretty much said they're never going to do anything with it.
So stupid.
Too many original cats dead.
God, that's depressing.
Yeah, it's about 50% now.
God, was there a curse?
No, it was that long ago.
Oh, God.
And then, I mean, a bunch of the folks were old then.
Yeah.
And the biggest one, well, up until a couple of years ago, was the car, Andreas Estes, and that was the one Jay Nichols said that I cannot ever imagine or allow someone else to play it.
Yeah.
He embodied it. He was like manifestly a long-term academic smoker.
I'll do it.
Yeah, buddy, there's a couple of years ago. Dr. Franklin, Stephen Biggs, a couple of years ago. Zach Allen, Rick Conway, these guys a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Stephen First, who's here, died a year or two ago.
Oh, sorry, Andy. Yeah, you're not mic'd.
Yeah, no,
Babylon 5, apparently, like, most of the cast is now... Half the cast has passed away. We were talking about how unfortunate it is that Babylon 5 is, like, mired in rights disputes and stuff and isn't really available to watch anywhere right now because it's got all these rights disputes going on, which is a real pity. I never got into it, and I always figured I would be able to like get a hold of it later and watch it, and nope.
Disney still by and large holds up. Even the graphics still look decent.
Nice.
There's the entire plotline involving Earth and its government and all that stuff that it's odd to watch again now because it's difficult to remember that this goes in between 9/11.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, right.
the overtones and it's like, oh, this is, no, it has nothing to do with any of that that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you call it pathetic, but
Unfortunately so, probably. How are we feeling about this this mule? Oh, I have battered this brush. This brush needs help.
also
I mean, it was a cheapo brush from Michael, so.
shaped my paradigm of how fish battles should work.
Hmm.
When I watched him get Star Trek, and it
Sad.
was like two ships. There's everybody else.
See, I grew up with original Star Trek, and then I was a kid when Next Gen Trek came out, and that was like a huge thing for me.
I always
And then I never got into Babylon 5. And then I was in college when, what's it called? Deep Space Nine came out. And Deep Space Nine is very much sort of held up as this, yeah, he's still white. Yeah, unfortunately on camera he doesn't look as great. Don't see much of the difference. But yeah, I was in college when Deep Space Nine came out. And unfortunately, I was not in a great mental space at that point. I really was not in a good place to be watching, like, my hopeful sci-fi utopia. Not like utopia, because there are definitely problems in the Next Gen world that they encounter in various places. Even the ship isn't perfect. There are all sorts of problems among the crew. That being said, they always sort of have a very hopeful tone of, yeah, we may not always get it right, but we try, and we try really hard to fix the things that we've done wrong and to help other people. And Deep Space Nine has a very much like, sometimes you just can't help people. Sometimes people do bad things and you can't fix it. And sometimes things are horrible just because they're horrible. And that's a more cynical view, and it may be a more realistic view, but unfortunately I was not in a mental space to be able to appreciate that at the time. And every time I have tried to go back and watch it, my brain immediately goes back to college. And I'm like right back there, not in a good frame of mind to be watching like hopeless things happen. So.
What's one of the interesting things if you do eventually, I actually recommend anybody watch Babylon 5 because it was a story arc and everything connects. That being said, I also warned you season 1 is a little rough.
Yep.
Season 1 is
I'm-
like a typical sci-fi show, and you're kind of like, some of it's good, some of it's groan-worthy.
The only season 1 of a sci-fi show that I can genuinely say I think holds solid as a whole thing is the remake of Battlestar Galactica. Because the first season of the remake of Battlestar Galactica is just, everything about it is solid.
The reason I say season 5 is a little rated too predominantly because they kept writing cancer.
Yeah.
They had to combine. It was always supposed to be a 5-year story arc. It was not necessarily supposed to be a 5-season arc.
Gotcha.
So they had to compress a ton of things down and a bunch of stuff got cut. The good thing about that is 2 of the storylines that cut, they took the scripts and concept and made novel series out of them.
That's always nice.
One of which is excellent.
First season of Heroes was perfect. I don't know about that, honey. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like the first. We're okay. So we are getting seriously into like the things internet nerds argue about territory here. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I think that while I loved the first season of Heroes, it made a lot of promises that it was never going to be able to deliver on within season 1, and it cleared very few things up by the end of the season, and then season 2 couldn't deliver, and it had a lot of flaws, and I think those flaws unfortunately were started in season 1. Season 1 made promises, and it was never going to be able to deliver within that season. So, I don't agree that it was perfect. To be perfect, it would have needed to stand on its own and start the second season with you having like an interest in the second season, and I don't think it managed to quite do that. Season 1 of Next Generation is garbage. On the other hand.
What gets kind of interesting is when you watch it the second time, knowing what's going to happen, and you start to see all these little things, you're like, oh,
yeah.
that in the fourth season.
That sounds interesting. I'd be into that. I should watch it.
Now, and then two of the characters interact amazingly, and their story makes a series big.
Who is it? Because I know a bunch of character names and stuff.
Car and Wanda.
Okay.
How they go back and forth, and how you see one of them really change and come to, in many ways, redemption, and the other one definitely not.
Ooh.
But even still, towards the end, remains a sympathetic character who kind of realizes what he's doing and he's gone so far that he can't stop it.
How is it on the morally gray characters being dragged kicking and screaming to do the right thing every once in a while scale?
Well, that's the thing, is the characters who do bad things do bad things.
Okay.
Sometimes people surprise you, and that's actually kind of a theme to when you say that and you learn the characters. There's no one here who's that big of a hero. And you'll see people who do developing things, which is kind of nice. In some cases, developing cases for words.
I think we need to mic you if we're going to keep talking about this, because we're having a very good discussion. Andy, if you have a chance, we need to mic Dan, because you'd add Orphan Black to the Great First Season. I would add Orphan Black to the Great First Season club. Andy adds that. I would agree with him on that one. Orphan Black is fantastic, just in general. But it definitely, the first season is so solid.
Do you want to remain streaming and take a short break, or do you want to end the streaming for now?
Let's remain streaming and just take a short break and mic up Dan and then come back. So we'll be right back.
Right?
Hey, we're back. Welcome back. And now Dan has a mic, so you can hear him. So I'm not going to be having half a conversation. I mean, I will have half a conversation, but the other half will also be audible. Fine.
7.5.
Nope. None less crazy.
Okay, valid. I tried.
All right, so Andy, before you go, do you want to see how the donkey actually looks as opposed to, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
White's hard,
Yeah. White is hard.
so
John Taylor.
yeah, you can't tell at all. That's fine. Okay.
Well, people are buying within at least,
Yeah.
despite their best efforts to kill their own product line and fan base.
God, yeah. It's frustrating because you're like, come on, man. You have like fans and people who want your stuff. Why? What's wrong? Don't you want money?
Well, yes.
Like,
that was
don't
kind
you
of
want
the
like
problem.
people to keep buying things?
That was the balance issue for them was, yes, they wanted all the monies.
Yeah, eventually that's not going to work out for you.
Not quite. They get pretty close to killing, I think, their own.
Did you just catch what the song is about?
Yes. I don't know, did you play this time?
I didn't. I watched Andy play a lot of it.
I enjoyed it. Some of I remember one mission in particular, it just got ridiculous because you had to infiltrate this elven party, basically. And you put on the special elven robes. It was designed that if you played as an elf, you could navigate around a little bit more easily. Which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
For my character, I shouldn't even be able to compete in that regard because I was not going in. So I don't really think anyone was mistaken for a lizard guy. With a big,
Yeah.
long lizard tail.
Probably not.
Argonians are not. The Argonians raised Argonian public. Ended Civil War, defeated the dragon. Several dragons, actually. And half the country still hated them because they were Argonians, so...
Well, there you go. That's fine.
start this. That may have been a little bit heavy, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Highlight over it.
Yeah.
To better answer the question I think about bringing the morally gray characters into doing things they
Kicking and screaming into doing things they didn't want to do.
I think in many ways it was usually the opposite, where they made characters make choices and weigh out what sacrifice is too far, what are certain things worth for better or for worse.
I like it.
And to the point where one of the
I like morally gray areas in my fiction. I find them fascinating. So.
Well, that was one of the you'll enjoy Londo, especially as you see him progress. His long-suffering aide, Fear Kodo, in many cases, spends a lot of the series attempting to get him to not do evil stuff. And you kind of see the things that, like, you're making bad choices. This deal is not worth what you're doing. But even he, at one point, I don't quite remember which episode it was contextually. He's having a conversation with someone else. I don't agree with a lot of what he says and does. Me and most civilized species. But sometimes he's right. And it was kind of interesting to see that, especially when you see that character's arc as well. He definitely goes from being just this bumbling fool no one wants anything to do with to where he ends up. His story, in some ways, is one once it gets really painfully truncated at the end.
That's a bummer.
And that's the book series that's worth it to read, because you do see
what ends up happening.
When he ends up where he does, it's not nearly as ridiculous as it is the first time you hear that that's what he's going to end up.
Okay.
And he's ready for it. Ow. Oh, there wasn't enough in it to dump.
Yay! All right. do.
Ah, it was still wet. That was still wet. Okay, whoops, sorry. Also, that orc is apparently drunk because he does not want to stand up.
That's fine.
Kind of funny for me. We've got a mic cat.
No. No, it's okay. All right. What do you think so far?
I like it. Looking good. I almost want to be there, especially if you guys are going to do the idea of the donkey transforming into a supreme badass, depending on when he's
It's gonna be really funny.
like that. I would love to see the reaction.
I'm gonna do like the interior of the roof.
Kind of back to the store. Here, we've seen it different. He came out when the Hulk emerges.
Yeah.
That is not the reaction anyone else was expecting.
Well, you know the story about that reaction, right?
No, I really don't.
They had a Make-A-Wish kid on set that day, and he recommended that reaction.
Oh, that's cool.
And they did a take with it, and they all loved it and thought it was very cool.
Nice.
So they kept it.
Well, that managed to make the humor work in there. I was not expecting that when I went to see it. I was like, okay, they made an action comedy, and it totally worked.
Yeah. They pulled it off. It could have flopped, but Taika Waititi is really good. So, have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
No.
Oh.
Sad. I don't get to see nearly as many movies as I would like.
I had not seen it. I grabbed it from work. So, What We Do in the Shadows is Taika Waititi's vampire mockumentary. It's in New Zealand. And he stars as one of the vampires. It's about a group of vampires who live as housemates together. They're all from different eras, so they have they're stuck in different time periods, sort of, in terms of their thinking and how they dress and everything. And it's a mockumentary, so it's supposed to be like a documentary about these guys sharing a house together, but they happen to be vampires, and talking about the culture of vampires in this city in New Zealand. And there's a rival pack of werewolves. They're getting a TV show spinoff called Werewolves. Werewolf.
Nice.
And what are we? Werewolves, not swearwolves. They all try to be on their best behavior. The vampires happen upon them while they're all chaining themselves to trees for the night because it's the full moon. It's so good. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it's Taika Waititi as one of them. And there's the dark bidding line. Leave me to do my dark bidding. It's on eBay.
Nice.
It's every joke is just beautiful. So, yeah. Alright, I think he's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna go redo his hooves in gray. I'm not happy with them brown. And it looks like they can sort of go.
I'm not 100% sure what color hooves are.
Sort of gray. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. So I'm gonna go with gray for this. I'm not thrilled with.
Alright, we got some half orcs here.
Nice, nice. I'm not happy with this either. God dang it. Oh, lovely, lovely.
Hooray!
I did. Now I'm gonna pick him up and make it difficult. Oh, he looks great. Yeah, they're awesome. I love them. The kids are gonna love them.
I decided that one they definitely needed like the bright orange.
Oh yeah, he totally needed that orange mohawk. That's perfect. You know what? I know what color I'm gonna use for this. I'm gonna use this for the hooves. The hooves have given me more trouble than like anything else on this entire figure.
Clark is attacking, so we don't need him.
Then I have to play, how do I get all of these paints back in the box where they came from? Oh yeah, this is the right color.
That's female paladins here.
Ooh, fun.
I love the cloaks.
Oh, those are gonna be super fun. I'm actually gonna end up coming up over this with like some grass, so. Yeah, this was the right color choice for this. Now let's do some packages. Let's do some wood, and different bags and lines and all sorts of stuff like that. I need to buy some more cheap paintbrushes. Oops.
What's that? first eventually. The hair
Yeah.
was good. Huh? Oh, oops. That's not what I had in mind.
I can put all these flesh tones back. Goodness knows I'm not using those right now. That can go back in there. This purple can go back. That can go back. I'm done with that. Like all the browns now.
Well, after commenting on how much my pain white is, I decided one of these is going to go with.
Of course. So obviously I'm not working today. I am working tomorrow, but tomorrow is super busy and I'm at the main library the entire day. And I found out on Wednesday that I'm meeting with the library trustees at my branch on Monday morning. I wasn't prepared and I have to present something to them. And I only found out on Wednesday afternoon, so I had Wednesday evening and yesterday, but I was on the desk yesterday all day. So, yeah. So I'm a little stressed about it.
You have to present something, or?
I have to like tell them about how my branch has been doing the past year.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, these character sheets are pretty good, man.
hey guys, you want to play some D&D? Yeah, so I'm a little stressed right now. Just a tiny bit stressed. So this is nice, like, I don't have to think about that time. Of course I am thinking about it, but, you know, that's how it goes. You don't have any need for an HP printer scanner that won't run on Windows 10, do you?
Windows 10 is here. That's the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Trying to jam
Same.
everyone over. Rapidly running out of time to do so.
Yeah.
The network's melting down. So lo and behold, when you try to have all these people do this at once, bad things happen.
Yeah.
Not as predictable.
Gee, how shocking.
Which unto itself is irritating, but then I've got all my couple near-do-wells. Like, well, what if we just try this? It's a lovely idea. Back in the real world where we are,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. Or we could, we're just going to call them. Oh, okay.
Sure, go for it.
What part of this is a nationwide problem? I'm not grasping it. The only thing that's unique about us is we have less users than a lot of other places. That's what that means. If you said we're a lower priority in places with one,
Yeah, there you go.
even within our current organization, because yes, I'm aware that we are one of 26 people that
Yeah.
listen to, all of whom think that their problem is the most important right now. But for them, it is.
shadowed steel? Actually, I'm not going to shadowed steel. It's regular steel.
I've got another user who's freaking out. They did something to his connection in his old office.
That's not good.
It's causing all kinds of havoc now. Are you still able to get on? Like you said, bro? Yes.
Yeah, guess what? You're all set now. For now. Until we tell you otherwise, you're all set.
You'll get you there, but now is not a good time.
What are you looking for? Oh, I have it already.
I should probably cover my face in the car, so I think it's starting to cook.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to drown out the conversation downstairs. I don't have the attention span for that.
Oh, there was something about grandfathers, which just reminds me of Pride. And, Professor, oh, somebody's telling me old grandpa's concerned about the past. I also love that Bender was the Oswald.
Yes.
They just reassembled him as a UFO.
So good.
I do wonder how well that show's going to hold up over time.
Yeah, hopefully it'll hold up well.
Unfortunately, I feel like it won't. Only because it was oftentimes so topical. If you don't understand the references, it's going to just be so
that's
lost.
true.
Like, why is this funny for another generation? Is it trying to watch Monty Python, the show?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was hilarious at the time. I don't know enough about 1970s British culture and politics and to get all the references and jokes. There's a learned hard. Some things you just can't go back. You just have to leave them in your own past.
Yeah.
I love the 18. That was one of my favorite shows. And now trying to watch it again. How did I ever like this?
Yeah.
Got off.
So I had a coworker who used to unclog glue bottles like this, except he'd use not like long pins, but thumbtacks. And that doesn't work quite as well for one. And also, it gives you the problem of in order to like make it work, she would dig out the like tips so that they'd end up really wide, and then you couldn't seal them again. That's also a problem. Because how do you keep it from getting clogged back up? So she would leave the thumbtacks in the tops of the bottles.
This can't possibly improve.
It was so bad. What? Oh, I used it. Sorry. I was using it for some mahogany.
Oh.
Did it fountain?
No. It just pushed the wad down in and. This is going to be necessary for most of the next ones. Does Derek come on and movies?
No, I haven't had Derek come on and paint.
Oh, I just meant the podcast in general.
He's played with us online a couple of times, but not recently. He's been very busy.
I'd love to see him do the film thing he's doing on Facebook on this.
Oh, that would be great.
This has some very solid selections.
He does. He has some things I don't agree with, but then it's not my son, so...
Just movies you don't like, or?
Yeah, movies that I don't necessarily think are, like, essential viewing. They're perfectly decent movies, but I know a lot of really excellent movies that I would put on an essential viewing list ahead of some of the things that he's listed.
I don't remember now if he specified. It wasn't really a particular order.
There's no order to them, but like one of the things that was said was like, well, there has to be something in like last place. And while that's true, that also is sort of positing that that movie made it on the list instead of certain other things. You know, no matter what order you're putting them in, putting a movie on the list says it's worthy of being on the list. And there were some things on there that I was like, you know, it's perfectly fine, but I wouldn't have put it on the, like, movies that must be watched sort of deal. But like I said, Caden's not my kid, so it's not like I'm the arbiter of all things good movie. Goodness knows I like some absolute garbage.
I live with one of those. This is a good thing. If you don't like it, you're wrong. This is a terrible thing, and if you like it, you're wrong.
Yeah,
No,
see, I can't
we just have
do
different
that.
Taste in certain films, buddy. This is not a moral.
And like, so I can acknowledge that something is well made and also say this isn't for me. Like, there are certain things out there that, yeah, objectively speaking, this is a beautifully made movie, and I did not enjoy any moment of it. Because it's not a movie that was intended for me. It wasn't a movie that was made for my viewing entertainment. It was made for someone totally different, with a different perspective on life. And while I can fully admit that it's a beautifully put together movie, I did not enjoy watching it.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Like, There Will Be Blood. Beautifully made movie. Beautifully acted movie. But, like, the craft involved in making it is wonderful. But, dear God, I did not enjoy that movie. I watched it because we owned it and it was on our movie project, but I did not enjoy watching it. I found it very difficult to get through.
I'm not someone who watches things typically just because they have a certain actor or they have been made by a certain director or whatever. And the opposite is also true. I will not go, I'm not going to watch this movie because it's got Tom Cruise in it. Well, you just missed out on a pretty good film if you couldn't get past the fact that you don't like the guy's religious beliefs. Okay, that's your choice. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was going to say I would put actually a considerable number of Tarantino films. There are some that I love and will watch whenever they're on. There's others that's 2 hours of my life. I mean, you never get back.
Oh yeah, I feel that about a couple of Tarantino movies. There is a director that I probably will avoid from now on because I've now seen enough of his stuff to know that the movies he makes are about miserable people being miserable and making other people around them miserable. You know what I don't need? More misery in my life. So Andy loves his stuff, and I will agree that his movies are beautifully crafted. They're just beautifully crafted to make you feel that misery. Oh wow, DG Dell, I'm so sorry. I had a reference picture of the mule up on my screen, so I did not see you in chat. I'm so sorry. It's good to see you. Yeah, the background music is Miracle of Sound. And yes, Peter is the best vampire in What We Do in the Shadows. That was you with The Mummy. I've never been able to sit down and watch The Mummy. I have so many friends who love The Mummy.
Which one?
The Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
And I can't watch it, and I have a reason. And it's that a whole lot of people who are not librarians have this very romanticized, hey Allie, view of librarians based on Rachel Weisz's character in that movie, and sort of have this assumption of if you're a librarian, you must idolize her. I was a librarian before that movie became a thing in my consciousness. So I don't have to idolize every fictional librarian in the world.
Is that not how that works?
I know, it's weird, right?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Does Eric have clippers in his thing there?
That's a good question. Yes.
Where the hell am
I have 2 pairs, but they wasn't home because I didn't expect Ulrich to come in today.
There you go.
I don't see mine. That's kind of troubling.
Well, I found Eric's, so. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's sort of this, she's the be-all and end-all of fictional librarians, and I'm like, okay, she's perfectly fine, but it's very like, I don't know, I find it, and I am a librarian, and it's, no, honey, no. Yeah. Evil Dead, the musical, can't do Evil Dead. Can't do it. I love Harry Potter. I don't expect everyone to love Harry Potter. I honestly think the movies have some really good stuff going on. They also have some really bad stuff going on. And that's unfortunately a thing with Chris Columbus. He tends to do very faithful adaptations. The problem with that being that there's very little creativity to it, and then you get something like Prisoner of Azkaban, which has some really great stuff in it and is definitely a departure and is Cuarón. I like Alfonso Cuarón. But then lost some things in the transfer from like book to movie.
So which director was it that Andy likes that you don't?
P.T. Anderson, who did Magnolia, and what was that horrible one that I hated with Adam Sandler? I don't like Adam Sandler in general, and this movie was on Derek's list, and I was like, oh, no. I do not need another movie about a dude with anger management issues. Thank you very much. Now I'm blanking on the title of it. That's probably okay. I'm not going to worry about blanking on the name of it. But it was basically about Adam Sandler's character having like massive anger management issues. And like at one point he like beats something with a what's it called? A golf club. And it was so off-putting. That movie made me so anxious. I spent the entire movie feeling like I was so keyed up. I like had a fight or flight instinct the entire time. I don't want to, why would I want to spend an entire movie feeling panicked? Why would I do that to myself? I don't care how well made or well acted it is. If I spend the entire thing feeling like I'm about to get like hit, that's not good. It's not fun.
Yeah, you do what is technically proficient.
Yeah.
But I'd say I would probably consider most of the Rob Zombie horror films to be
Yeah.
not my thing. Like I understand he does amazing things with the genre and very well.
For
filmed,
people who enjoy the genre, they're
I am-
probably
yeah.
super into them. But yeah, not my thing.
Yeah,
Not
no,
my
like,
thing.
I'm good, thanks.
Yep, I am absolutely fine without. All right, let's do.
What colors are next?
Excuse me, my goodness, that was a belch. Nope, that's not the brown I want. That's what I want. I just can't do Evil Dead. It doesn't matter if it's a 35-minute long musical, like parody thing. I can't do it. Cannot do it. It's not my thing.
All of them, or
Just anything. I can't do it.
no
I
Ash versus the Army of Darkness?
can't do it. Can't do it. I tried in college, and I was told this is one of the funniest, most amazing things you're ever going to see in your life. And this is the problem that I have. What happens is people will tell me, this is the most amazing thing you're ever going to see. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And when I don't have that expected reaction, when the reaction that I have is more, yeah, it was cool, or I didn't really like it, the backlash that I have experienced for that has been so nasty that it makes me reluctant to even watch the thing that someone is trying to tout to me as the best thing ever. Because I know if I don't react in the same way that they're looking for, I'm gonna get lambasted for it. So better to just say, nope, I'm not interested. Because then my reaction is entirely potential. They can go on believing that I would love it, and that's a pity that I haven't seen it or read it or whatever. And I don't have to worry about, like, disappointing someone. I had a friend who, and this is the other thing, people tend to recommend things to me not having any clue what my actual tastes are for things. Okay. So for example, I'm very particular about musicals. Don't generally like them. There's a handful I will make an exception for, but in general, they're not my thing. I had a friend who was 100% convinced I had to watch Hair. A musical about like the 70s. Why did I need to watch the musical Hair? Because people have sex. It's amazing. And the songs are fantastic. And I was like, but I don't like musicals. It did not matter to her. Yeah. She kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And this, like, over the course of like a week, it was the only thing she would talk to me about. I would like start to have a conversation with her about like something else. And it would turn into, have you watched Hair yet? And I'd be like, I've told you I'm really not interested in watching it. It's not my sort of thing. But she would go, oh my God, you have to watch it. And I kept telling her I really wasn't interested and to please stop pressuring me about it. And eventually I snapped at her. I said, look, I get it that you love it. Please stop trying to pressure me into watching something that I've already told you multiple times I'm not interested in. I don't like musicals. Telling me that this one is like about like sexual awakening and stuff isn't enough to get me to want to watch it. Like, I need more than that to make me interested in something. Just telling me that there's like sex is not enough. There has to be some other reason. It has to tie into like something that I actually already like. And she couldn't come up with anything, and then she told me that she was really angry that I had like snapped at her about it. That she was only trying to get me to watch something she knew I would love. But she couldn't explain why she knew I would love it. Her only reasoning was, there's sex. And I was like, but that's not my criteria for watching a thing.
There's many ways to watch that. I mean, okay.
Oh yeah, there's websites for that if that's all I'm interested in. You are correct about that one. Yeah, it was very frustrating because I felt like I was disappointing her by saying I didn't want to watch this thing. And she got really angry about me not wanting to watch it. So that's sort of where I'm coming from when people tell me that something that I'm not interested in is like the be-all and end-all of everything and that it's going to change my life. I'm like, there's very little chance that I'm going to have that experience. Like, I had that experience with, what's it called? Pacific Rim. I loved Pacific Rim. I saw it like 8 times in the theater. And it's because there was something about that movie that hit me in the right place emotionally at a time when I needed that. So, okay. That movie did it for me. It was everything I needed right at that right time. Am I going to expect that it's going to do that for everyone else? No. I know better. I know it's not going to do everything for everyone. There's no way it could. Yeah, it definitely is her problem. I have I don't talk to that particular person anymore, I'll be honest. There were a lot of other issues going on with her, but that's just one example of like a time when someone has told me that something I absolutely have to watch, they can't justify it to me beyond the one thing that they love about it, and then they don't really know how to apply that to me. When they realize that like my criteria for something being enjoyable is not their criteria for it being enjoyable, they're not quite sure how to recalibrate. So for example, this is a good example. Different person told me I should totally watch Torchwood. Torchwood was a Doctor Who spinoff that was done on the BBC several years back, starring Captain Jack. And the argument that I was given is that he kisses boys. And I was like, that's great. That's great representation. Is the writing good? No, it's pretty bad. Okay. Are the plots good? No, they're ridiculous. Is there an interesting story arc? No, they're pretty pathetic.
This sounds like a winner.
It's BBC. Is it your typical BBC special effects? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So your major selling point, your only selling point, is the main character kisses boys. I can find boy kissing anywhere.
Yeah.
Boy kissing is a lot more prevalent than it used to be, and I'm not too worried about being able to locate media that has it anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, not the same issue it used to be.
It's I think odd when it's almost cultural touchstones.
Yeah.
What I could think of was I had never seen Scarface. And I finally watched it, and it was alright. I didn't understand why everyone had been like, this is the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Right.
It was okay.
So DG Dell, the thing is, I did eventually watch Torchwood. So I exercise in my living room most of the time. I don't go outside as much as I didn't used to. I do more now than I used to. But there was a point where I basically just only ever exercised in my living room. And in order to keep myself from getting super bored, I would watch TV. And there were usually shows that I could watch on demand that would keep me pretty busy. But at one point, I ran out of those shows. I had watched everything I had wanted to watch that was available. And I had nothing left. And Torchwood was showing one of the specials. Sci-Fi was showing one of the, not even background noise, it's to keep my eyes occupied and my attention so that I'm not thinking about how much I'm sweating or the fact that I'm basically jogging in place. Because I live on a very busy road, and jogging on that road is sort of taking your life in your hands. And I do it now more than I used to, but when I was first trying to get myself in shape, I needed something that would keep me going even when I didn't want to be. So anyway, I ended up watching it, and if she had told me that Jack frequently grapples with having to make very difficult morally gray decisions and the implications of those and the sort of frustration of being immortal and knowing that all the people around him that he would befriends are eventually going to die, if she had hit those things, which she knew were things that I enjoyed because she knows one of my other favorite things is Highlander, if she had come to me with that as a tack, I would have been on board, 100%. But she didn't. Instead, she only really took the I'm gonna sell it to you by the thing that sold it to me mentality, and that was not going to get me on board. I think this, other than the base, what do you think?
I like it. Well, it's a mule, so it's
Yeah, I mean it's a
yeah, it's looking good.
it's a white mule. I'm gonna do grass on the bottom, so I'll do some green. But yeah, it's a little frustrating to sort of feel like when someone's trying to recommend you something, but they're recommending it based on the things that they loved about it, whether or not those are things that you're likely to love about it. So, yeah, it's specifically not an albino, so it's just white. So I've looked up reference photos for it.
It's melanistic.
He specified, I guess, so he's a little he's not as dirty at the bottom on this side. Been neglecting his right side. Get the earth shade back out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he's specific. He's like 12.
I mean, I'm actually kind of impressed to notice there's a difference between the animals that are albino animals that are melanistic.
Yeah. He's a good kid. Yeah, he's been coming to my program since he was very young.
I have after the doctor who in this one, they're almost horrified. Like, I need to try my nurse card. You don't enjoy it. It's never my interest.
And that's the thing, you know, you try it and it doesn't work, then it's no big deal. It's not your thing. I fell in love with Doctor Who when I was very little. Doctor Who was the source of my very first fictional character crush. And it's definitely one of those things where, like, I can see the trajectory of my life from this. Like, oh, yeah, I had a crush on Adric. I guess I like math geeks. Socially awkward math geeks. Apparently that's my thing when it comes to male characters. There we go. Finding reference photos is tricky. But finding a white mule was not as difficult. Finding like pictures of white mules was not as difficult as I thought. I think he's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with him. Yeah, socially awkward mathlete. There you go. There's my thing. So that was definitely my fictional character like basis for a very long time. Why, yes, I did like Wesley Crusher. I was an 8-year-old girl. I was a socially awkward 8-year-old girl. Of course I was going to like a socially awkward, like, teenage boy. Like, yeah. I'm not worried about getting some green on the hooves because that'll just be grass next to the hooves. But yeah, there are a bunch of cultural touchstone things I am not. Haven't watched Game of Thrones. Not gonna.
I did, and then I lost interest.
So I told one of the guys here. I told Robbie. He was like, "Oh, you haven't seen Game of Thrones?" And I was like, "Nope, not gonna watch it." Connolly. And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, I greatly prefer my media to have less rape in it. Just not something I enjoy watching."
Okay.
And his response was, "Well, there's not much rape." And I said, "How about none? Is none?" It's like, I'm gonna have to have you examine the thing you just said to me. Not much. It's like not got much spam in it. Yeah, if there's any, that's probably more than I'm willing to really devote myself to. Just not my thing. Not what I want to be watching. Some people, you know, take it as just part of the setting and the world and whatnot, and they're able to like keep watching regardless. I would find that very difficult to watch, and I'm not gonna. And I feel pretty confident about that. But there are a lot of people who are sort of like, but Game of Thrones! I especially find it frustrating when people are like, you should at least read the books. And I'm like, okay, so if you're going to recommend to me an endless series of heavy tomes full of murder and political machinations spread across a vast, sprawling fantasy setting, would you take a recommendation back from me? Because I've got something very similar without so much rape in it. And that is Melanie Ron's Dragon Prince series, which are fantastic and definitely full of murder and political machinations and dragons. Hence the Dragon Prince. There's a lot of blood in those books. The writer, Melanie Ron, laughs in an introduction to one of the later books about how she's been called bloodthirsty. What? Her bloodthirsty? Anyway, here's the tally of all the characters who are dead so far. And it, like, what follows is a massive list. Like, there are lists in the books to remind you of who is dead. And, so far, no one who has tried to get me to read or watch Game of Thrones has been willing to read the Dragon Prince books. And there are only 6 of those, and they're done. There's an end. Though if you do go looking for Melanie Ron, don't read Exiles. Because that's never ending. Because she lost the thread of the plot while involved in a publishing dispute, and is never going to be able to write book 3. So, that's a bummer. I mean, I'm not saying people have to read it. I'm just saying that when people come at me and are like, oh my god, you have to read this book series, and I say, all right, if you want me to give you the benefit of the doubt with this, would you be willing to read a thing that I'm suggesting? The answer is almost universally no. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're done here. No hard feelings, but, you know, don't come at me like this is the, you know, a requirement for being a nerd. I don't agree with that. I don't buy into it. My nerd cred's just fine. There we go.
Nice. I like it.
I'm pretty happy with that. All right, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to dry brush some of the lighter, like light green onto it. Whew.
Oops. Oh no.
I don't... yeah, I'm definitely going to ask Andrew what he thinks of that. I'm afraid that the wyverns just are too shiny, or I don't, that like they're all pointing towards the center. I'm not thrilled with how it looks finished, so.
He will accept it and like it.
He'll take it and I'll like it. I mean, he offered to pay me, so. Trilogies are great. Oh, thank you. It's DG Dell. Let me show you this. So, my friend Andrew Kelville asked me to paint his D&D figure. He has a Hexblade. It's a half-elf, I believe. Hexblade. So mostly dark colors, but his shield's sort of metallic. He's got some purple and some gold highlighting. He was raised by bards, so he does have a little bit of flamboyance in his heart. And his sword is a very dark. I did give it some little purple bits to it. And he's got these sort of shadow pieces. Shadow blades are fantastic. Yeah, I do really like shadow blades from what I know of them. Let's see. Yep, that worked. Yep, I got that. Got that. Smiley face is going to be a purple circle with a gold face. All right, let's go ahead and do the bottom of this figure now. Yeah. Ooh, Storm King's Thunder, you played a Hexblade? Nice. Sorry, Dan, you were saying?
Like a one-off kind of, or
yeah.
Campaign. Choose the mini, and then build your character based on how it's done.
Yeah.
See where that goes from there. Like I would even consider letting people start at level 5 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
Build a character out of this. I think I'd also like to see something where it's just level 7,
yeah.
When you start, whatever you want to do with it. So you have 10 levels, you know,
just play around with it, yeah.
Make the character you absolutely want to play. Whatever race or will make that way, let's try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like when the Critical Role folks have guest stars. Those guest stars characters are, Andy and I were commenting on it, the guest stars characters are always like really interesting and fascinating and like unique because they're one-shot characters for the guests. You know, they're doing a one-shot, you know, maybe it'll come back later, but they don't have to worry about it like being OP for an entire campaign, like year-long campaign,
Right.
because they're a guest. So they can do some really like weird, funky stuff and then come up with a backstory for it. Yeah, the base is a smiley face, so apparently this is a thing that the guy I'm doing this character for, like it's a thing between him and his friends, that they have these smiley faces. He gave me the whole explanation at one point. Unfortunately, I have forgotten some of it because my memory is annoying like that. But he does have like a whole reasoning behind the smiley faces, and I thought that was cool. So yeah, it's going to be a smiley face. It's going to be a purple base with gold, like the smile and the eyes are going to be gold. I do think the whole idea of there being like essential nerd cred shows or books or whatever is ridiculous. There's so much out there. There's like way more media than any one person could absorb. So he's gonna sit for a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, that came out real nice. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's just what's interesting too.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge Marvel or DC or any of that comic kind of person.
Yeah, so that's just not going to do it for you. That's not going to be the thing that you get into.
almost everyone loved it. Now, luckily, 11 books into the Horrors Heresy and all of it gone. I know my favorite kid.
Yeah. And that's like a totally valid thing to like be into one thing and not the other. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I totally don't expect most other people. I mean, I love when people want to listen to me prattle on about it. I've got one of my friends who's looking at the suggestions. Would you like to try these?
Yeah.
He has. And, he's doing the books on tape, going back and forth to Boston, and the audio books.
Yeah.
Every couple weeks there'll be another little thing on Facebook messages, questions like, hey, what's this about? Yep, got this. I'll tell you.
Character you're currently playing, you like to refer to the race class combo as D&D Jesus. It's what I want a horse reference for. Oh, an Aasimar Paladin. Nice. What type of Aasimar? Like, are we talking the, like, Death and Doom type? I mean, you say pacifist. There's the, like, the War Aasimar and, like, isn't, like, Light Aasimar or whatever? Aren't there, like, 3 subtypes for them? I looked this up at one point, and of course I've immediately forgotten.
I'm also just looking for an opportunity.
Well, yeah.
I am in no way typecast.
Scourge Aasimar. You do damage to yourself and those around you. And yes, I did look that up. That was one I was aware of. That's fantastic.
I'm also still looking for the opportunity to play my band experience. So one of the homebrew races of squirrel folk.
Squirrel folk.
I think they stand usually 3 or 4 feet tall. But the idea, it kind of only works if you start at least level 5, so he needs the second attack.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that there's one character, but there's 3 of them that function as a team.
A unit.
Yes. So, and the idea for it is that they ride a regular sized horse, but with, instead of just a regular saddle, there's a basket on each side of it.
Nice.
With an archer in each one, and then the third one directs the horse and slings magic. And that they would then, additionally, when they're dealing with any kind of social challenges, would have to roll an additional dice to see whether or not they agree. And if they all are on the same page, then they would get advantage on the next roll to actually do it. And if they're not, they would be at disadvantages. They all essentially start shouting at the person at the same time, or basically start pushing each other over who's right and wrong about what direction you're supposed to be going.
Nice. That's noisy.
The biggest stumbling block to the concept of those people we were kind of kicking around with, we were never really able to get a good idea of what would happen if one member of the group died.
Right. Yeah, that would be the trickiness. All right. I think I am pretty happy with this horse. Time to take advantage of all this wonderful texture on the base to really make things pop. There we go. Pack mule is done. I'm happy with it. Okay.
Nice. I like him. Looking good.
I'm really happy with him. Yay! I love accidents that end up working out well.
If I hadn't said anything, people never would have known.
You could have gotten away with it too. Actually gonna redo one of these pouches. It got darkened down by that ridiculous. Oh yeah, I just put my finger all up in the base that I just painted. That was smart. God, I'm so brilliant. We'll hold him by his sword. There we go. A little bit better. We'll let that sit for a little bit. My fingers are so covered in paint. So yeah, that's the pack mule. Let's put that a little more in camera and see if it takes some of that white balance away. Yeah, there we go. Okay, you can see him a little better now. So yeah, that's that.
Oh, that's the color I was looking for earlier.
Oops.
Oh well, it happens. I suppose I still have. No, I still haven't found. I think it died. Good dark red.
Red's tricky. I find it goes on very thin usually. Oh, that's not where that is. There we go. It's one of the reasons I like the using label things as paint palettes is that eventually all my little drops of paint pop right off. Oh my god, metallics. Metallics in dropper bottles are a pain. Ooh, that's stopped up real nice. There we go. Ooh boy. There we go. You can do it.
It's just super watery when it came out.
Yeah.
That's not.
I had a blue come out like that earlier. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't shake this enough.
Somewhere in here is paint.
It's a nice mid-gold. No, he's right. That is a soda and a candy bar. All right. There it is. So I think aside from the bandana, he's pretty much done. And depending on Andrew's reaction to him, the bandana he might be done. So yeah. Was there anything else loose that I put in my bag earlier?
Streak the hair without wrecking it.
No, I have some dice in here. I'm not painting dice. I could.
Only on one side. Just saying.
One side at a time.
No.
All right.
How much did you put on to weight it enough?
I'm looking to see what you're.
Trying to get some.
All right. It's time for the truck. Time. My God, it's already 4:30. It is. Well, he can sit there, and he can sit there. And they can go back in there, and those can go in my bag. When he's dry, he can go back in his hero vault. All right, it's truck time.
Final truck?
The final truck.
I feel like we need to hit some Europe real quick here.
And it's already like based. You can do it. This is it. The last truck. So I gotta do detail work on it. That's basically what's left. Let's put this top on. At one point, this box got turned like sideways, but not in a way that it should have been turned sideways. And things spilled. Like the top came off, so it wasn't just that like it spilled. It spilled in a very specific sort of way.
Not in a good, specific sort of way.
No. There should be a tray for this.
We had a little accident with Chrononauts the other day.
Oops.
Yep. Of course, it had to be the box they would shove the gore years into, too.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Cards everywhere.
That's 3 trays.
It's also exploded across the passenger side fence in my car on several occasions. Hey, moderately my fault.
God, how did these archivist cards get like all the way to the top of the pile? That's amazing. For the most part, this box does an amazing job keeping everything in place. It's just, it went sideways and the top came up, which kept all, that's what keeps the trays in place. So the trays were no longer being kept in place by the top of the... All right, so what we're doing is this. One of the models that does not match as closely in terms of the molding of it to the, the grid work should be up here. The signage, everything should be overlapping. There shouldn't be any of the box truck visible. This definitely has a lot less space in order to do things. There should be some other panels sort of sticking up off the top. So yeah, this figure definitely not entirely like the picture.
This is the comics.
Yeah. Down into the night.
Probably because we swear to use teeth momentarily. This is not
What is going to happen? Yeah.
Okay, and it just took an interesting turn I didn't
Not that kind of stream.
Yeah, no, it's like, ooh, didn't expect that. I don't remember what year of college it was. One of my friends from we met in high school. He went to Rhode Island College and worked in radio there. He's actually now a radio personality. I think he was back in Boston. He did and BS his way through the day.
Nice.
He's extraordinarily good at that. Monetized it, which is amazing.
Hey, you know, do what you're good at.
But they were playing Christmas music, and they just downloaded a version of Jingle Bell Rock. Yeah. They didn't check it.
Oops.
And they played it, and it was a parody version that was very, very highly appropriate for the air. And they're sitting there listening to go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oops. Did not mean to do that.
Yeah, you gotta check what you get.
And this was early days of, I mean, it couldn't have been more than 2002? They were still pulling stuff from like Kazaa, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Shake that a little bit more.
Sensing some hostility down there.
Sounds like a little bit, yeah.
I really need to get the blue wash back from my room.
I think Derek has a blue wall.
I've got one. I'm just not a huge fan of what I'm about to do.
What do you have?
I have the Vallejo one. They tend to be a little lighter than what I'm going.
Oh.
Sometimes that's great, but in this case,
Yeah, not what you
Citadel
want.
would be a little bit better for. Ah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Dragon's my chair.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
It's time. Accidentally comes home with me.
Once and always a part of history. Long remembered warriors be. Distant thunder echoes of the past. Through our voices forever to last. With your heart to the legend of the cross. Through our souls it will never be lost. With your heart to the legend of the cross. Through our souls it will never be lost.
Nope. I think this is a brand new experience for all of us. It's about David Bowie.
Oh,
It's not a reference per se, it's just about Bowie.
Oh, rocked. I thought you said ruled.
No, rocked. It's, yeah, supposed to be about Bowie.
It's become unofficially we listen to Space Oddity when we're building at least one of our ships during Space Tournament. With Galaxy Truck.
Nice.
A game about going through space and having these really, really, really horrible. One person didn't even make it to the end.
Ooh.
Entire ship.
Ugh.
2 asteroids. It was bad.
Never a good sign when you send the pin all the way through and there's nothing on it. That means you have not hit paint. Better. There we go. It's time for rust.
Such safest sanctuary, dropping them dollars on you, thank you very much. By the way, no refunds back into the boneyard badlands we run. I saw a siren singing, shifting through the shots are ringing, frying, burning, guts are stinging.
Not too much color. wasn't scared. I just couldn't leave the compound without getting attacked by these dogs. Like, this is not fun. I'm out of ammunition and I haven't even made it to the...
Yeah. Check out your ride.
Alright, here we go. One clarity.
Yay! Oh, he looks awesome. Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. I think it's time for the first wash. Let's see how this goes. No, we're not going to use that.
How many times did Reaper on board that said you guys
You could try.
What's that?
You could try to send more minis to your kids. We have a lot of them, is the thing.
We'd have to do a limited selection.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do them in you don't want me to use the Hero 4. You make kind of
Yeah.
generic origins, but then if you paint your own. Make
Right.
Make your figure look like you or your character.
The trouble there is time.
Right. I mean, yeah, it has to be the case of lots of
God, I love putting washes on things. It's so satisfying.
It's just beautiful easy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, yeah, for something that takes arguably minimal skill, and all of a sudden the model's just 10 times better.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh.
the hair, but it kind of works the way it just, yeah. It
Yeah.
almost has the that. Okay.
Yeah,
Not even
sure.
upset.
It's
A little
cool.
bit, but yeah. Not as much as I thought I was going to be. 'Cause that was almost catastrophic. Oh, oops.
All right. What do you think? The wash just does it. All right. The base of that is nice and he's going to need a few little touch-ups on his face. And I need to get Andrew's approval for the wyverns. But he's largely done. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with my donkey. This is the cleric that Dan just finished painting. Looks awesome.
What is the donkey's name?
I don't know if it has a name. I'll have to ask Julian. It's his donkey. And
I don't know if he named it yet.
yeah, he may not have named it yet. So.
I would want to request for mule and not name said mule.
And I'm pretty happy with how this came out too. I don't really feel much need to go back and poke at it.
That will lead to regret.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's like, oh, I tried to touch it up. Why is it gray? Because I had to reprime the
Yeah.
entire thing. It's like, this will ruin up all.
Exactly. I think it's 5 o'clock. So I think we're probably gonna maybe call it a day, because in 2.5 hours, Andy and I have another stream, and I do want a chance to get myself some food, hang out a bit, relax. I got some friends downstairs I want to say hi to. So yeah, just wait for Andy to come up and shut things down. For now, I'll put some paints away. Are you gonna want that blue wash again?
No,
Okay.
that was just for the color.
Yeah. I just wanted to. I figured I'd ask before I went putting it away. And that's
Impossible to replicate.
that's my Nuln oil. That goes back there, that goes back there. DG Dell, thank you for popping in. It's good to see you. Glad you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. We're playing The Thing tonight, in case you're free tonight. You can
Trust no one, we're all gonna die.
pop in and say hi. We have a fair group coming, I guess, because... Dan, are you staying for that?
Yes.
Okay, so Dan's staying for that.
That's
And
why I
we'll
came
actually
down.
be on camera and everything.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, everyone's on camera for that one.
Okay.
We have a wide shot of the
I
whole
should have
table.
brought the Yeti mask.
So we're gonna have that, which is gonna be cool. And we've also got, so John's coming and he's bringing some friends. Yeah, so we've got a big crew coming for that, which is pretty cool. Wow, I think I swapped those. Or they're the same size. No, that worked better. They're just infinitesimally one bigger than the other.
Someone's coming up the steps.
someone is coming up the steps. I think it's probably John. Hey. Doing all right. We're painting. I'm actually finishing up painting, so I'm going to have Andy come up and shut things down for the afternoon so that we can take a break, get some food, and, yeah, get ready. So, yeah. Yes. Ooh. The mystery box. Okay. Excuse me. I have to text my husband because I don't know if he's actually able to watch. You're doing all right, DG Dell? Night off from D&D. You get to watch tonight? That's exciting. I mean, I'm sorry that you don't have D&D tonight, but I'm glad you get to watch the stream tonight. That's exciting. So yeah, we're gonna take a little break in a few minutes as soon as Andy gets up here to shut things down. We're gonna take a little break, have something to eat, get ourselves dinner, and then we will be back with the thing, which John just brought up. So it's sitting right there behind Dan, which you can't see, but it's sitting right there behind where John normally sits, basically. Ooh, yeah. Oh, they look great. Well, no, but I like that green. That's nice. We do sell Magic singles online. If you go to, let me find the official website. If you go to battlegroundgames.com, the online store is on there, and the orders come into this physical store, and someone here, possibly Andy, will pull cards for you if you order them, if we have them. We did have selling through like Amazon and TCG Player. I know they've been scaling back on that because they were having some issues with it. But you can definitely buy through the actual store, through the store's website, and the orders come in all the same. So, yeah. Hey. Yes. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later tonight at 7:30 Eastern.